Italian teacher explains why Italians are so rude. So, are Italians actually rude, or is it just our culture? This is a question that a lot of my students ask me literally every day. So, if you are from a country like England, or you're from Australia or the US, probably the way Italians behave can be perceived as rude. But in my opinion, of course, as an Italian that traveled a lot and lived in many different countries, I can tell you, I don't think we are rude. I think we are just very different from other northern cultures. We're very direct. We don't really sugarcoat things. We go straight to the point. A very good example can be that older generations in Italy easily comment about your appearance, and it's perceived as something that literally everyone does. An example is my nonna, my grandma. Every time I go see her, she will comment about the way I look. If I'm too skinny, she's gonna be saying something like, "Oh Anna, sei così magra, devi mangiare." Or if I gained weight, she's also going to say something like, secondo me devi dimagrire. When I was younger, this used to be something that would really make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Also because I used to be a ballerina. And as a ballerina, you try to stay slim and skinny. That's the way you want to look. But of course, being in the Italian society would be very difficult because everyone would tell you, "Oh, you're so skinny, you need to eat." And it's totally normal to do that. Another thing that can be connected to the fact that Italians are perceived as rude is basically just the fact that we're not very punctual. So, how does it work? If you're meeting a friend and you're in an informal situation, you can be 10-15 minutes late and no one is going to complain about that. A good example is my best friend. My best friend is always late, like at least 30 minutes late, and it's actually pretty annoying because I'm very punctual. But the thing that happened to me being in Italy is if no one is going to be punctual, I'm not going to be punctual. So every time I was meeting my friend, I would consider that if we were supposed to meet at 5, I would show up at 5:30. So if you are a foreigner who's very punctual, if you go to Italy, get ready because basically we're not very precise, and also that is just part of our very relaxed culture. And another very interesting point is that if you come from a culture where everyone is not so loud, if you go to Italy, you might feel like that everyone is just like shouting at each other. Also, that is just part of the culture, it's just part of the Italian experience. And so if you go to Italy, get ready, because I would say especially in the south, but I'll explain that actually I don't really believe that, people are pretty loud and pretty like passionate about a lot of things. And going back to the south and the north, a lot of people say that people from the north are very reserved, they're very shy, and people from the south of Italy are more outgoing, loud, more like stereotypically Italian. Well, when I went to visit my friend in Modena, which is in northern Italy, if you don't know, I honestly was shocked at how southern people were there, because they were extremely loud, extremely outgoing, extremely warm. So, there are a lot of like stereotypes about the fact that the north and the south are very different, but then at the end of the day, I think we actually have quite a lot of things in common. So yeah, I do think that Italians can be perceived as rude, especially by foreigners, because if you're not used to the, Italian way, you might be a little bit shocked by the way we are. But on the other hand, I really believe that it's just part of our culture. It's not something that we're not intentionally trying to be rude. That's just how we are. And so again, I think it's just part of the Italian experience. So I'm very curious. What do you think? Do you think Italians are actually rude, or do you think it's just our culture? Have you ever been in a situation where you were like, oh my god, Italians are so rude, I don't want to go back to Italy? Let me know in the comments.